Hi everybody, I'm home, so come on in. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad to be back. I've had a really busy week and I didn't get a video out as quick as I thought I would. I've been looking out my window every morning to see if it's going to be nice enough to sit on the porch, and I've been so lucky the last few days. We had some rain last week, but not very much, and it didn't tear up the leaves and bring them all down, so I've been taking every opportunity I can to sit on the porch and enjoy the last of my flowers and just enjoy this beautiful weather, because it'll turn nasty before too long. I set a few more little Halloween decorations out, just a few subtle ones because I kind of like them and I want to look at them for a while. And then the flowers, of course, are still going really good. And my niece, Melanie, she gave me this pumpkin last year and I think it's really cute. I take it in at night, but I like it on the porch. I went to the cemetery the other day and noticed that my in-laws' flowers on their grave were really faded and they were from the summer and it was time to change them. So I gathered up all my fall flowers that I could find and I went to Hobby Lobby and I bought 2 bouquets of orange roses. And I took them out there and laid them all out on the ground and started designing a new saddle for the top of their stone. I decided that I had been out there and there were so many that were real bright orange and yellow, and that's what I wanted them to be. These are what was left of the summer flowers. They were faded and they had been windblown and there weren't very many left. And so I decided this one was going to be full. I left a few of the white flowers that were in the original bouquet and kind of pushed them into the styrofoam a little further and then started putting the roses on top of them, knowing that I could cover those white roses. It would just give it a little bit more fullness. So I started tucking in the orange roses, and then I added sunflowers and ribbons and leaf sprigs, and I put a leaf bouquet at the top, and what happened was it ended up fanning out over the whole thing. I wanted it to be really full because this is what it ended up looking like. The wind is terrible out there and half of these will get blown away. So I want it to still look full after half of them get blown away. But I noticed looking from a distance, they look like it was on fire. It kind of looked like a little fire from far away, but everybody out there was doing the bright yellows and oranges this year and they were just beautiful. So I'm glad that it turned out the way it did, even though it does look like it's on fire. This is what it looks like from the back of the stone, and you can see it coming up the lane. It's really pretty. Then my girlfriend came up from Kentucky and she said, hey, let's go thrifting. So we went thrifting Friday and I found a whole tray of tarnished silver, I had to go through, and some beautiful plates that I didn't purchase, but they had a nice selection of plates this time, as they usually always do. And they had a lot of milk glass. Now, I don't collect milk glass. I have a few pieces of my mom's, but it's just not my thing. But I have a few friends that collect it. I do collect cranberry glass, so this vase got my attention, and it's got hand-painted flowers on it, which makes them more valuable. But it said happy 40th anniversary, so I didn't buy it because I don't need any more cranberry glass. But I did buy this cranberry glass. It was a coin dot Fenton 10-inch vase that was just beautiful, and it was only $1.25, so I had to have it. You can't pass those up. And then I got this real tall, it's about 1.5 feet tall, it's real heavy, red glass candle holder, and it's got the candle in it all the way to the top. It's never been burned, and it's just beautiful. I don't need it, but it was cheap, so I got it. And then they had a lot of 25-cent frames, and this one was tarnished a little bit, so of course I had to have it. And I use frames all the time. I paint them, and I'll probably use that one. Then I found this 25-cent Yankee candle, and when I got it home, I figured it had been burned, but I opened it and it had not. It's the pumpkin spice scent, and they're still selling this one, and they're pretty expensive, the Yankee candles, so I was tickled to get that for $0.25. Then I got this 8-foot long vine. It's burgundy and pink and a little bit different colors than you usually see in the fall, and I really liked it. Then I got a blue ball jar that I did not need. I've got so many of these, but I have some friends that collect ball jars, so I can always give it away, and I like them. And it was only 75 cents. And ball jars, especially blue ones, are usually $3 to $10 in antique stores. So, and this is an old one. Then they had a lot of pretty linens, a lot of crocheted doilies and scarves, and I thought this was a really pretty tablecloth. But I have so many linens, I stepped away from the linens because I didn't need them. This is a pretty bowl that I saw that reminded me of, my mom had a canister set in the 60s that had roosters all over it, and I think it was kind of like this. Then in another thrift store, I saw this. I don't know what it is, but it was kind of the same way with the painted roosters. At Goodwill the other day, I got this big blue and white planter, and it had never been used, so I'm putting onions in it right now, but it's really pretty. And then I also, the same day, found these blue and white dishes. They are bowls. I bought 4 big ones and 4 small ones because I always use bowls. I love them, and they're not old, but they look old. Then I found this little 2-tiered rack that didn't have any shelves on it. I got it for $2, so I brought it home and cut 2 boards and glued them on, stained them. And then we had a party this weekend, for a fall party for my husband's family, and I set some family pictures on it and set my napkins on it, and it turned out really cute. I've got it sitting on the living room chair so you can see it, because you couldn't see it up against my counter too well. Then my little Santa Clauses, I've got so many of them, but I found this little guy. He was only 4 inches tall, and he's pretty worn and weathered, and I usually put a little bit of stain on him to antique him a little bit, but I love him just the way he is. I don't think I'm going to do a thing to him. He's so cute. Then I thought I'd show you what happens when my thrifting finesse gets me in trouble. I had bought this really nice, brand new looking, rose-covered sofa, and it just wasn't suitable for my teenage boys and their friends to be watching ball games and stuff. So a few weeks after I bought it, I found this big green brocade sofa on big legs that was like perfect, and I had to have it because it's more my style and much sturdier for the boys. So our living room looked like a movie theater for a while until I got the other one sold. Then Julie and I, after we finished thrifting Friday, we stopped at this little local pumpkin stand that a friend of mine owns with his family, and they had a lot of pretty pumpkins, and we bought some. These white pumpkins, I'm just not into the white pumpkins. I think they look cute in a display, but I didn't buy one because I'm just not real crazy about them, but they had a lot of them, and it's a really nice little stand. Then I came home that night and decided to make chicken noodle casserole, and I make it all the time, but this time I decided to throw in some garden vegetables, and it was one of the best casseroles I've ever made. It was just for Kevin and I, so I started out with some broth with a little bit of butter in it, and cooked my noodles and my chicken breast, and just threw it all together. I made a little roux with some flour and some broth, and threw it in with the chicken and the noodles. And the spices were salt, pepper, and paprika, about a teaspoon of each, and a teaspoon each of garlic powder, chicken seasoning, and the chicken seasoning I get at Meijer. It's just for chicken, and they also have one for steak, but they're just a combination of seasonings, and I can't tell the difference. We really like this one. And then I did about a half a cup of, not each, but a half a cup total of onions and red and green bell peppers, and oh my gosh, did that really add to this casserole. Then I used about 3 cups of noodles. I can make noodles, and I make noodles all the time, but this was one of those hurry up deals, and I didn't do it. I just used egg noodles. And I cooked 1 chicken breast, boiled it, because it was just us, but this meal made enough for 4 or 5 people. I mean, we ate on it for 2 days. And then I used a cup of shredded cheese that I shredded myself, and it was sharp cheddar, but you could use any kind of cheese at all. You wouldn't have to use any cheese if you didn't want to. I put the noodles in with the chicken, and I had some, I threw the cheese in on it too. I had some peas and carrots in the freezer, that probably 1/4 of a bag. So I just threw those in with the broth and the noodles and the chicken before I thickened it up. And I thought that added something to it. My mom used to put peas in all of our casseroles. And this is the roux, the flour, and the broth. And I mixed that in with the noodles and the chicken and the peas and the carrots and the onions and all the peppers. And these were the spices. And just mixed that up and poured it into my new dish, my square rust colored dish that I like so well. And then I crush potato chips up and put on top of our casseroles. But sometimes Kevin doesn't like it. So I put those on one side and then I just put cheese on the other side. And baked it up. And this is what it looked like. And boy, it was so good. Those garden vegetables just gave it the freshness that it needed and made it a little bit more unique. And I think chicken noodle casserole or chicken and noodles of any kind is just a really nice comfort food. And if you remember the roosters I got about a month ago, I had 2 of them and they were dark. They were dark and they were dull and they didn't really show up. The colors weren't too bright. So I decided I was going to paint them. So I painted them a light off-white color, and then I went over them with a little bit of gold with a little bit of brown in it. And depending on these pictures, the color looks a little different in each one, but they turned out really pretty, and I put a little bit of wax on them, and I think they turned out looking like butter. I mean, they were just beautiful, and they're so bright and vibrant now. Now, when people go walking around in the woods, they see acorns laying on the ground. I see pumpkins laying on the ground. I saw pumpkins and little bowls. The acorn lids are going to be bowls in my doll houses. This is how my brain works. So I've got pumpkins and things coming up. This is my bathroom. When we redid the bathroom in our bedroom, I told Kevin I wanted rustic wood in the bathroom. So I found this bowl at Menards on sale. And when I told my contractor I wanted to use wood on the countertop, he said no. And I said yes. And I went out into our barn and found these big slabs of wood. And they ended up being wood that my brother-in-law had taken off of someone's deck. And they had been treated and they're waterproof. And we curved them out so that it wouldn't be a straight edge alongside the toilet. And I love them. And then I used rustic wood for trim and put hooks that I got at Hobby Lobby. And I found one roll of wallpaper at the thrift store that I just absolutely love. It's got a real soft peachy pink color rose in it. And the green that's in my sink. And then my contractor was going to put a piece of white trim that looked like plastic up against the wall where the wall met the tile, and I said no, I want to use rustic wood, and he didn't think that would look good, so we did it anyway, and I love it. And it's just a good combination of the wood and the pretty, I think. And this is a picture of the whole bathroom. I didn't realize the shower curtain looks so wonky, but it's a real pretty bathroom. And this is what was sitting in my shower the night of my fall party for Kevin's family. I heard a few screams come from the bathroom. I kept the shower curtain just covered enough to cover him up, and when you turned around from the toilet, you kind of ran into him. I'm kind of ornery sometimes, but I was going to have him standing up, and he wouldn't. My forever book this week is going to be Simple Abundance. I started reading this book in 1995. It's a book that you read 1 page a day, starting on January 1st. And it's just the most beautiful book, especially for women. It teaches you so many things about life and ways to enrich your life and make it better. And there's even a chapter that says that a wise woman thrifts. So I learned how to thrift from this book even more than I did from my mom. And I've decided that I think I've read this book every year since I've had it, and I've had it for a long time. It's pretty well worn, and it'll be on my nightstand forever. And the more I read it, the more I realize that every single word of that book is totally embedded into me. And I want you guys to get it. I've seen it at thrift stores so many times. It's a pink book, and you can't miss it, and it's a good one. And if you guys like my videos, please like and subscribe. I've kind of set a date in my mind of when I will quit doing this if I don't get enough subscribers, because it's an awful lot of work, and I just feel like I can't do it forever and not have some subscribers. I've got over 500 now, though, and I'm looking forward to having 1,000. So if you like this, please like and subscribe. It would really help my channel. And I hope it inspires you to go out and do something fun today. Bye.